Previously on the Crenshaw Corner.
They wasn't ready for the conversation. So it kind of left us, and again, this is general terms, women saying, I don't want to tell him that don't feel good. I don't want to hurt his feelings. Like I don't want to bruise his ego. I don't want to bruise his ego that baby,
Right.
no, that wasn't good. Like I didn't know. I did not have orgasm. No, it didn't feel good. No, I don't like being touched that way. So we just take it instead of saying, babe, can we talk about what I like and what you like? Because vice versa, it may be a way that
Well, hello there, family.
Hi guys.
And welcome back to the Crenshaw Corner.
Hey.
I am your host, Sanchez Crenshaw, and as always, I am joined by the absolute best part of my day.
Hi guys.
The wind beneath my wings.
He is lifted up where he belongs.
The apple of my eye.
Yes. Green apple.
The rib that completes me.
Y'all, he completed, y'all.
The Eleanor to my rock.
The Rock.
The who?
The Rock.
Who is the rock?
Ain't that the show?
The rock?
Rock.
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 Yeah, it's just rock.
Rock.
It's not the rock, it's just rock.
Rock. Ha. Ha. Ha.
Yeah, it was. I gave that to you. The name was in the title. Title was in the name.
You be acting like...
Bro, you never watched TV a day in your life, bro.
I do watch TV, but I'm just saying...
If it ain't Elle Woods,
Oh, don't do that.
you don't know.
This is second time.
Nah, you doing good. You got a streak going on. You doing good.
I did too, y'all. I did too. What's going on, family? What is going on, guys? I am Angela Crenshaw, guys. What is going on?
That is my wife, family.
Hey.
Family, that is my wife. Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How you feeling, baby?
I'm doing good.
Was the family clapping for me?
That's the crowd going wild for you. The crowd going wild.
Thank you, guys. Yay!
They missed you. They missed you. Family.
Yes.
Welcome. We're so happy you're here.
We are helping you here.
However you're listening, whether it's on iTunes, whether it's on Podbean, whether it's on Spotify, whether it's iHeartRadio, whether it's Google Podcast or
You're getting better.
Apple Music.
Yes, you're doing great.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Whether it's on our own personal website at www.thecrenshawcorner.com. If you found us on Instagram, if you found us on TikTok, if you found us on YouTube.
Facebook.
People still use Facebook?
They still use Facebook, baby.
I don't know. I haven't logged into Facebook in 13 years. So I don't know.
I'm so tired of you right now. But go ahead.
But we thank you for listening. We thank you for joining us, however you found us. Whether you are new to the Crenshaw Corner, we welcome you.
Yes.
Or if you're a returning family member.
Hello, returners. How
you already
are you?
know how we feel about you. We're so happy you're here.
Thank you for holding us down. We appreciate it.
We appreciate that.
Yes.
If you ever want to reach out to the Crenshaw Corner, you can do that by emailing us at thecrenshawcorner@gmail.com. Once again, thecrenshawcorner@gmail.com.
Yes.
We always love hearing from you. Always love interacting with you. Always speaking with you.
Yes.
We love you, family.
Love you guys.
All right, enough with that.
Yes. Talk to me.
Got the business out the way.
Yes, we did.
What are we talking about?
House cleaning.
Not the house cleaning.
Housekeeping. I know it's housekeeping, people. Don't judge me. I know what I said.
What you got for me today?
So this topic is going to be, I think, a powerful topic.
Okay.
One that needs to be talked about.
Oh Lord. That sound deep.
Yeah, it is going to be a deep one.
Is it?
It is people just don't talk about it, basically.
Okay.
Men or women. It's definitely not men.
Okay.
And I'll get to that. But this is a conversation that I've been having for the last couple of months with women who I meet for the first time or know right now. It's something that I've been studying. It's something I've been following and something that I've been living. And so I want to talk to you, and I want you to do me a favor. I'm going to ask you some questions, and I want you to help the men that might be going through this or don't even know that they're going through it.
Am I helping men today?
Yes, you're helping men today.
Okay.
From your perspective and your experience that you've had in this area. So we're going to talk about menopause.
We're going to talk about who?
Menopause. Pre-menopause for me, but menopause in general.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, pre-menopause.
All right. Okay, let's do it.
So here's the thing. For the last couple of years, maybe for 2 or 3 years, I've been going through premenopause but didn't know it. or let's say perimenopause. So because there's a perimenopause, there's a menopause, and there's a post. So we're not going to get into it. We're not going to get into it.
There's a lot of titles there.
It is. But I've been in perimenopause. And so for a couple of years, not knowing that that's what it was, knowing that my hormones were irregular,
Right.
My mental capacity and everything else was all over the place. But this 2024 really showed me that I was in perimenopause, and I was advised that's what my situation was. And you can be in it for several years, and I'm not going to do a full education on it because I am going to have a couple of women come on our podcast and talk about it, and we will really get into it. But I just want to talk to it from the men's view, because you living it with me, and your experience with it, because a lot of men may not know that they're living with it with their wives, and if they are, they don't know what to do, what to say, or how to react, or how to help. And so what I wanted to do when I started going through perimenopause is I wanted to take Sanchez off the sideline and make him part of the game. Okay. And only because at first I didn't want to discuss this with you, as you know, because I was embarrassed, and not even embarrassed, but I didn't have the correct verbiage to be able to explain to you what was happening to me, not understanding that what was happening to me was affecting you as well.
Is that something that's ever been talked about in your family?
No. I recently asked my mother about it, and my mom about it, and she said that she went through menopause, but not the menopause symptoms, like the hot flashes and the night sweats.
Right.
She never had that, ever, to this day, like never. She's never had that. She never had that issue. My cousin Carol, the same thing. My aunt, like my family members, none of them they didn't have the hot sweats, all of that. But what I do know now that they did have was the mood swings and the depression.
Gotcha.
But I can put a title and a name to it now. But at the time when they was experiencing it, I didn't know. I just thought it was evil old women. Just mad all the time for no reason, right? The moods was up one day, down one day, this way, that way. And I just was like, ew, y'all just evil and bitter people. Not understanding now that I know what I know now, that was not the case. That was a byproduct of them being either due perimenopause or in menopause, right?
Because I remember pretty much our entire marriage, you always said, the women in my family do not go through menopause.
Yeah, that's what I believe.
You said that forever.
And then I realized, yeah, they do. But we're talking about symptoms versus the menopause itself.
Right.
And so when I asked my mother, that's what she said. So she didn't, and again, it was very short because she didn't have the words to talk about it, or no one talked about menopause. Like all they talked about is I'm having my own hot season or whatever the case is, or they'll say I have my own.
Is that my own summer? Or something?
Yeah, thank you. I'm having my own summer. See, I don't even have the words for that. I'm having my own summer. You would see them fanning themselves or getting hot out of nowhere, or cold women hot, all of those things. But it was never, hey girls, let me sit you down and let me tell you that what's going on is menopause or perimenopause. And the only thing that you heard about menopause was night sweats and hot flashes.
Yeah,
that was it.
It was because even like with me growing up. Excuse me. When it comes to menopause, or like what I heard, or because no one really talked about it, me growing up either.
Right.
Of course, nobody's really going to talk about it. I'm a boy, but
they
didn't really talk about it. But like what I remember, it's you go through the change. Never really explain what the change was.
So weird.
You have hot and cold flashes, more hot flashes than anything, and then you're not really of child rearing age anymore.
That was it.
It's the three things I always heard.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to worry about having babies anymore at that point.
Right.
You're gonna be hot, and then you went through the change. But like I said, nobody ever really said what the change is. So
well, don't feel left out, because that's how we heard it.
How you heard it too?
Women. I know, and then this is just I'm talking about my family, because I know there's pretty other families that basically had real conversations about this or told their daughter what to expect or whatever. But for me, that was not the case. Right. And then I had to, but now that I'm living it, I tell my daughter all the time, like, listen, I tell any woman who will listen what's going on right now.
I've experienced that. I've experienced that.
Standing at a table and we just, hey, and we'll just start talking about it because I think
take my leave at that point. Actually,
yeah, you do actually.
I take my leave.
I think it's because no one talked about it, and right now women are dying, having cardiovascular disease and high cholesterol and high pre-diabetic, all because of being into perimenopause and because of their hormones. And no one's ever told them. They just thought that or your joints are hurting, and that's the thing. Let's talk about a couple of things before I get into you.
Okay. Oh no, this episode is all about you, babe. So I'm just here along for the ride. Whatever I can do to assist here and there, but this is all about you, my love.
So let me say this: because the only thing that we were taught was that you was gonna have hot flashes, mood swings, and I keep forgetting the other one, Lord Jesus. See, and brain fog. Does anyone know that when you're pregnant, you will have brain fog, hair loss, joint issues, cold shoulder, high cholesterol, be pre-diabetic, all of this stuff.
What is cold shoulder?
Cold shoulder is like a shift shoulder, and when you try to move it up and move it down, but they call it cold shoulder. That's what
it's a stiffness in the shoulder.
It's a stiffness in the shoulders,
okay.
And it will come out of nowhere, and you have stiff joints and things like that, and hair loss, and then hair growing in places that shouldn't even be growing. So there's so much going on that when I heard it, I only was thinking about hot flashes, cold night sweats, and mood swings,
right?
And the change, and losing your cycle. Can't have no more kids, and that's it.
Right.
So to learn now that I'm in it, that all these other things are also part of premenopause and menopause blows my mind because that ain't what I was told. And I'm mad because ain't nobody tell us that all this other stuff. And again, part of my family, because they didn't experience that part, but they experienced the other parts. They had to know that was a change. They had to know that it was different.
Do you think they were ever told? Do you think they ever had the conversation?
There was no real conversation about perimenopause or menopause. Let's just say pre, whatever, it's menopause.
Right.
I don't want to keep preferencing it that way, but no one was ever talked about it. And the reason why, because doctors were not taught how to deal with women when they went into peri and premenopause. In menopause, They were not taught. From everything that my research, doctors had one day. General practitioners had one day to learn that information, and that was it. That was all. They learned about everything else about that because that was just an issue. It was taboo, basically. Yeah, the taboo conversation. It was very taboo of having that conversation, and also because they didn't understand, they thought that the woman was just complaining. So what they gave them is antidepressants, and told them to lose weight. Told them all the things that they told them to do that was detrimental to their health. Right. So a lot of senior citizens, seasoned women who have all the ache pains and the joints and all of that things really was about their hormones, not so much a sickness and a disease, but they will pump so many pills that at that point, taking one pill bothered their liver. So then that became an issue. So one on top of each other versus having a conversation about what it is, but no one knew how to have that conversation till now.
Gotcha.
Right.
Gotcha.
And even now it's a taboo conversation, but more women are coming out now, more doctors are coming out, and more specialists coming out dealing with only menopause. Right. And so the reason why I want to have this conversation with you, because when it started, at first I was embarrassed and I didn't know how to explain, we talked about this. I didn't know how to explain to you what was happening because he thought I was just rigid. But like, okay, one day she just woke up and got ice cold. Like, what in the world?
You got mean?
Yeah, I got mean.
One day you just woke up and got mean?
Yeah. And not even one day I was hot, one day I was cold, and then that went away and never came back.
Yeah.
Low libido, not wanting to have sex, not wanting to have anything intimate at all, just being transparent with that. Because that's another thing that they didn't tell you about, having low libido, not wanting to have, and that's where you come in at, because I think experiencing that, before I told you what it was, before I had the courage to tell you, but I had to first learn it for myself to make sure that what I was saying was correct or what was going on with me, so I could share that with you. What was your feelings of the last 2 years of this change, as the change that happened, to be honest?
Not saying this in a derogatory way, because what I never want to do is lessen the effect of mental health or talk about mental health in a disparaging way.
Right.
But until you gained the knowledge, which in turn educated me on it, you educated myself on it. It was like living with someone who was schizophrenic. I never knew what personality, I never knew what mindset or what thought processes or what attitude I was going to get from moment to moment. People always, when people think about a schizophrenic personality, they think more of the aggression part or the what's the word I want to use? Not the paranoia part of it, but also there's a change in personality part, a disconnect part of schizophrenia, and it was like dealing with that because like one moment you were happy, one moment you were my regular Angela, we'd be laughing, we'd be talking, whatever. And then the next moment you became distant and or you became agitated, you became aggravated, or I felt like I couldn't do anything right.
Right.
Because I didn't know what was going on.
What to do.
Yeah, so it was difficult.
Yeah.
It was difficult. And then being upset with myself, because then I would get upset with myself if I got upset with you.
Right.
Because then I would get frustrated with you. I would get aggravated with you.
Right.
Like I'm like trying to figure out like really what is going on. Like tell me. And I would ask you like what's wrong.
Yeah.
You would tell me nothing. Like
because I couldn't articulate it. It was almost like a depression that I didn't even know I was in.
Right.
To be honest, if we're just going to be honest about that, I didn't know. It was one of those things where things was happening to my body. So let me just say this. So between doing that, I had two knee surgeries. Between the two knee surgeries and then this, and my body always hurt and always aching. It was like every day I woke up in some type of pain or something. So I was super frustrated and aggravated, and I didn't know. Was it the surgery that I should have never had? I felt like I should have never had, or is it my mental because I'm having brain fog, so I can't remember stuff, or I have to be careful of what I say and how I say it, or I have to think too hard about what I'm going to say. It was like my whole life internally was changing, and I did not know how to handle that, much less articulate it to you. I just knew that it was like block. Everything to me would normally, because I live in color, anybody who knows me know I live in color.
Technicolor.
Yes. And for a little while I was in black and white and grays, and I did not know what to do and how to handle that. So then when I went on my own journey of finding out, because I took hormone therapy, hormone therapy for a while, which was another thing that I have a problem with because it's super expensive. Insurance doesn't pay for it at all. Insurance believe that a woman who's going through menopause, in reference to that is a, what's the word I'm looking for? It is not a necessity, right? It is an option, but it's not a necessity to have hormone therapy.
Right.
It's not a necessity to take the blood to find out, because you have to pay to take the blood to find out your hormone levels, right? General practitioners do not know how to read it, so you have to have a specialist to do that. And so they feel that having a specialist to do that is not warrant them to pay for it, or the therapy for them to pay for it. They don't believe in it. So everything that we've done, that me and CHS have done for me, he's paid out of pocket for me. We pay for the blood test, we pay for the doctor, we pay for the visits, we pay for the compound medicine, the hormone therapy that they make for me. Like all of these things they pay that he paid for out of pocket. And then if that wasn't enough, every 6 months you have to go back.
Recheck your levels and make sure your levels are okay. And so when I went to a doctor to find out that my because I'm pre-diabetic now and high cholesterol and fatty liver, which is crazy. I've never had that experience in my life. And then in return, they was like, lose weight. But it was saying, do all these things that you need to do to get you in a better health. But to come to find out, when I go to a hormone therapy doctor, I just say Dr. Black anyway, and for her to tell me and for them to tell me that that's because I'm in perimenopause, not because I can eat all I want and do all the things that I want, but until I get all of my hormones in a line the way they need to be for what I'm going through, that's the cause of that. Right. You know what I find fascinatingly ridiculous is that all my life, the topic of women's health has been kind of taboo. Like even from something as, I'm going to say standard. I can say standard because I'm not a woman. It's not standard to you guys, but something as standard as your menstrual cycle.
Right.
It's like a taboo topic. It's not really discussed, especially not discussed to men or to young men, or told exactly what's going on, exactly what are the side effects, exactly what's happening. We're not really had. Those conversations not really had. We're told like a bare bone, she's gonna be evil.
She'll be cranky.
She's gonna be cranky.
She's gonna be in pain.
Yeah, we get all the negatives.
Right.
We're told all the derogatory negatives of what it's gonna be and what she's gonna experience during this time.
Right.
So the fact that we were never taught something as simple as about a woman's
Mm-hmm.
monthly cycle.
Right.
We were definitely not taught anything about
Right.
menopause and what's going on and what that looks like.
Right.
And the fact like I said all the time, I was born in the 70s, a product of the 80s.
Right.
And the fact that we're in 2024 and it's still the same.
Yeah.
It's still like a taboo topic. It's still something that's not really discussed.
Right.
And if it is, the subjects change really quickly.
Right.
Or it's minimized.
Right.
And when it's really out here affecting lives.
It's affecting your mental life. Here's the thing that blows my mind. Hormone therapy is in doctor's terms or in health insurance term is alternative medicine.
Which is crazy, right?
They don't pay for that. However, now here's the thing. That keeps our hormone in balance.
Right.
That keeps our sexual organs great. That keeps us moving about earth, living life. But for a man, he can get Viagra for free as many times, how long he wants it.
Oh, yeah, I can get that off a website.
Listen, it doesn't matter. But the insurance will pay for it regardless.
Oh, yeah.
Insurance company, if you go right now, I got low libido, don't cringe, erectile dysfunction or whatever the situation is.
So.
Insurance company says, hey, pay for that for him.
Right.
There's no reason. That's a issue. That's a actual problem. That's an actual issue for a man. And so what I'm going to do is we need to pay for that. But for a woman, that's alternative medicine. That would help us with our same low libido, the same functionality, the same mental capacity of a man would feel and not be able to have the capability to do what he needs to do. The same woman that a woman feels, but it's alternative medicine, and we're not paying for that. You're gonna have to pay for that out of pocket.
They act like you're in the backwoods of a shack with bones and some chicken feet,
right?
Trying to find a cure.
No,
and that's crazy.
We've been battling this for a long time. When you're younger, you don't know these things. So you don't know the battle until you get of age and get into it. And you're like, and it's really a war. It's really a war fighting because also it messes with your mental capacity. And if a woman does not have the capability to get her hormones checked, her progesterone, her testosterone, I say that all wrong. Say that.
What you just said. and if you're not sure what she's saying, Google it. Because
estrogen.
Estrogen, was it?
I always get it. It's testosterone.
Testosterone.
That right there.
Right.
Estrogen, and I always say it wrong. They be cracking up.
I don't know.
Progesterone.
I don't know. It's one of them estrogens.
It's one of those. The top 4 that you need to get checked.
Yeah, them right there.
And so women, when they go to general doctors and they tell them that they want that done, they tell them there's no need to have that done. You already have blood work. You don't have to get it done. And this is from experience.
Right.
Of asking for it and asking for high cortisol. Like a lot of people do not know that cortisol levels is a stress level, right? So when you have high cortisol, it's because your stress is up. So if you don't educate yourself about this stuff, then you're walking around a achy, sick, in pain woman year after year after year because you don't know, and everything begins to degenerate. You know what I'm trying to say?
Deteriorate.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
See, that's
baby.
that brain fog, y'all. It's
I'm
real.
Here for you.
Thank you, baby. So we don't talk about that. Like a lot of women, like for me, for the brain fog, taking ashwagandha, ginseng and stuff like that. But it is a real thing.
Do me a favor.
Yes.
Explain what is brain fog.
Brain fog is when your memory is very clouded. Like you know what you want to say, but it's almost like when people say it's right on the tip of my tongue.
Right.
But think about having it every day, trying to articulate what you're trying to say and what you're thinking, but you can't find the words, or you can't. It's like trying to pull the word. Like I know what this word is, or I know it. Or when you say I know where I put my keys at. I know I have my keys, but you can't find your keys.
Right.
Now, just consider every single day having that experience. Not all day, but every now and then having that experience to the point like me just saying, okay, now what? So I just give them like whatever the word's supposed to be because I don't want to think that hard about it but you have to really consider. So it's like your brain is just really foggy, right?
Okay.
And again, that has a lot to do with your estrogen in your body. Estrogen has a lot to do with a lot of things in your body. It's one of the top hormones that really work your body, works for your joints. It's all over your estrogen levels, estradiol, all of that is within all of your bodies. And again, we'll get into that. I'm not going to give a lesson because I'll be here all day, y'all, because I really learned a lot about this. But one of the things that bothered me the most is how it affected you because I didn't have the conversation with you. Kind of like embarrassed at first, like, baby.
Yeah.
It's like almost not want to ask your husband who you've been married to long, can you go get me some pads and some tampons? Like, it's almost one of those things, and you're like, sure, but at first you don't really want to ask your spouse, your husband, to do that. But then after a couple of years, you're like, yo, can you go get me?
You already at the store. Pick this up
while you're there. And so I felt like I had you on the sidelines for so long, and you wasn't part of the game. And that's what bothered me the most, because I was like, okay, I need him to know what I'm going through, because I'm going to need him. I'm going to need him to be a part of this with me. I'm going to need him to be on this journey with me. I'm going to need him. And also the fact that he's paying for something that he doesn't even know he's paying for.
I was paying for. I didn't know what I was paying for, but I was paying for something.
You said $250, baby? Okay. Okay, $150. Okay, somebody drop. Okay, okay, baby. Okay. Oh, we going back in 6 months and do the same okay. It was that kind of thing. So for me not to bring you in the game was a problem for me, and I wanted to bring you in the game. So the first thing that I did, and he'll tell you, is that I had him watch a video. Can you watch some of this? And then as they began to speak, he began to understand. When you first heard it, what did you think?
I had a aha moment, and it gave me actually a relief. From a personal standpoint.
Okay, tell me about that.
I'm not going crazy.
Okay.
Because I was like Will Ferrell in Zoolander. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills because it was so frustrating and trying to be understanding and trying not to be that guy.
Right.
Trying not to be a jerk. But it was frustrating. Like you said before, I really understood like mentally what you were going through and understanding just the capacity of what it was taking for you to formulate a thought, because it became very frustrating. It was because I'm not saying we're the most intellectual people in the world, but we have intellectual conversations. We have deep conversations. We have conversations that expand our thought processes on things, that gives each other a different perspective on things. We have in-depth conversations. And to go from having in-depth conversations to you not even be able to put together a thought became frustrating.
Yeah.
Because I didn't understand it.
You used to say, baby, what are you trying to say?
Yeah, get to the point. What are you trying to say?
He used to say, okay, get to the point.
Sorry about that. And it was like, and I was looking at it from, you're just trying to be dramatic and you're just trying to elongate
this
conversation for dramatic purposes.
Like it's a movie.
Yeah. Like you're just doing this for dramatic purposes. Like it's that dramatic pause.
Yeah, I would say that dramatic
it's like,
pause.
Can I get some bread from you?
Shut up.
I felt like Captain Kirk, get to the point here. We don't have to do this, James T. Just get to the point. And it became frustrating to the point at times I didn't want to talk to you.
Right.
Because I didn't know what I was going to get.
Yeah.
And then once you started sharing with me and bringing me into the videos and getting information and letting me be a part of it, I was like, oh. Then I felt bad for a moment. I felt bad. I was like, oh, I was being a jerk. Yeah, I was being a big jerk.
But you can't be a jerk of something that no one lets you have knowledge of.
Right. And I get that. It's like I wasn't on purpose. I wasn't intentionally.
Purposeful jerk.
I wasn't being a purposeful jerk.
Right.
But I was being a jerk nevertheless.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, this is what she's dealing with. This is what she's going through. Like, oh, like she really can't get her thoughts together.
Yeah.
It was like she's truly trying to go on this thought journey. It was like she really can't. Like that's really a blockage.
It's a real thing.
And like that's really an obstacle preventing her from getting this thought. I was like, oh, okay.
Yep.
And then when we got into also from the hormonal standpoint, and that's another thing, especially, of course, we're based out of the U.S. So from a educational standpoint, unfortunately, our public school systems are not the best. There's a lot that's lacking. So there's a lot of life information that we don't get. And it was never really explained. So we don't really understand how important your hormones really are
Yes.
to your day-to-day life.
Yeah.
And if there's an imbalance in your hormones, and this is for men and women, but if there's an imbalance in your hormones, it really can screw up, for lack of a better term, screw up your day-to-day life. And so having an understanding of what you were going through, because you really had a hormonal imbalance.
Yeah.
And your hormones were everywhere. And
Yes.
they're up, they're down, they're left, they're right, they're north, they're south. And that really does affect how you speak, how you talk, how you walk, how you
yes,
if you're able to sleep.
We won't talk about that.
Yeah, and it really throws off your day-to-day life, which in turns, when you're in a relationship with somebody, partnership with somebody, what affects you that greatly is going to affect your spouse.
Absolutely.
And for the longest time, I took everything personal.
Yeah. So let's hit on that too. Let's talk about the low libido.
Okay.
Right. Not wanting to, not because I didn't want to, but I just didn't have the capacity.
Right.
And again, this is before you knew that was another aspect of it. Right. And there's so much to touch on. I'm not going to touch on it all, guys. But how did you feel before you knew? How did you feel to what you know now?
I felt hurt. I felt unwanted.
Mm-hmm.
I felt as though I wasn't attractive. I felt as though that you didn't desire me anymore because I couldn't figure it out.
Right.
Because at that time, we had children, but we had older children.
Right.
So it wasn't a situation where they had to be catered to 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Right.
They were very much self-sufficient.
Really grown.
Yeah,
grown.
They were very much self-sufficient. So it wasn't that. It wasn't the housework, because in our relationship, it's always been a 50-50 when it comes to housework.
Right.
You do your share, I do my share. It's never been on one person.
Right.
Financially, during that time, we were okay. We had some stresses, but it wasn't a big stressor. We were okay. So I was like, okay, so I'm taking all the normal things
out
off the plate of what the excuse would be.
Right.
But I'm still getting no. I'm still getting rejected. I'm still getting, well, I don't feel like it. I don't want to. And then for a while, I wasn't even getting any explanation. It was just no. It was just a flat no.
Yeah.
So by that time, I was like, okay, so if it's not the kids, if it's not the housework, if it's not stress, she's going to the doctor. I'm making sure she goes to the doctor. So she's getting checked out. She's not telling me that there's anything physically wrong with her. So if I'm taking all that off the table, I'm the only thing that's left.
Yeah.
So it has to be me.
Because I didn't share.
Yeah, it has to be me. So either she's not attracted to me anymore, I'm not physically appealing anymore, I'm not satisfying her properly.
Right.
There has to be something. I'm the only thing left. We've checked all the other boxes.
And I'm the common denominator.
I'm the common denominator here.
At this point, right.
And so I got to the point of like, I'm not even going to try anymore.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm done. Like I'm tired of being rejected.
Right.
It's like, this is my person.
This is hurtful.
Yeah, it became very hurtful. Like I just don't want to be hurt anymore.
Yeah.
It's like you get to a certain point in a fight where you just can't take the hits anymore.
Can't take the hits. Yeah.
And I got tired of taking the hits. I didn't want to take the hits anymore. So I did a Roberto Duran, no mas.
Yeah. And I felt like that was a push too for me to bring you off the sidelines and bring you into the game.
Right.
Because it was like, what in the world? Like, because again, it was one of those things that's super embarrassing. Right. Right. And you got to come to your spouse and you got to break this down to them about what you're going through. And so, and again, if you don't have the correct words to say, right, this is not like you go to the doctor, like, now, how do I explain this to them, right? You got to be able, because you know your person. So you have to be like, okay, what does this look like? What do I say? But I know that it was hurting you, right? And here's the thing you guys need to understand. This was not months. This was like 2 years.
Yeah, no, this was a long process. This was a long
process. This wasn't like,
process.
And was in it, from what they told me, I was in it longer than that, but I didn't know that that's what it was. But the 2 years going into, especially this year, was where it became a thing. It became a real big thing in our marriage. And so I was like, okay, he needs to know, like, embarrassed or not embarrassed, feeling ridiculous. And no matter what I did, I could zhuzh it up all I wanted, tried my best, but I just couldn't get it. So that's how low my estrogen and all of my hormones were. And even though when we was going to hormone therapy and I was getting the compounds and everything else, it still did not assist me in that area. So I had to learn that what's going to help. And I'm still trying to learn. I'm still being educated on that. But I want to read something, because you're talking about, tell them what brain fog is.
Right.
So it says brain fog is a common symptom of menopause and perimenopause that can include memory and cognitive changes. It can feel like your brain is cotton wool and can make it hard to focus, retain information, remember things as well. You're easily distracted, experiencing time lapse, forgetting names, drifting off while you're reading, staying in a room and not remembering why you were there. That's crazy.
That's my grandmother.
Because here's the thing that I'm learning.
Everything you just said, that was my grandmother.
Yes, because back then they didn't talk about hormones and imbalanced hormones.
Right.
So from what they're saying now, a lot of times like dementia and seasoned women going into, they didn't have to have, they had their hormones balanced. That's why I'm such an educator for it right now. That's why I'm such a fighter for it, because a lot of them, what they went through, they didn't have to go through, right? There was one lady who said, she said that most women outlive men. Mm-hmm. Okay. However, the crazy part about it, most women outlive men, but the quality of their life is null.
Right.
From dementia to arthritis, all these things that can be changed had they knew that their hormones need to be balanced. Had they brought their spouses along and discussed it like we're doing now and saying, this is what I need, and how do we work together and partner together to make this thing work? Because it's a real thing. But what happens is, this is me. I think and I believe that a lot of divorces, because I've talked to a lot of women, we've had this conversation around 40 or 50 years old. Mm-hmm. I don't know where they said they were unfulfilled in their marriage, didn't like their husband, blah, blah, and they divorced. Not understanding that could have been a part of a hormone imbalance. Right. But they didn't know that it was. And then what they were going through, they didn't have a partner. Like we have a partnership. They didn't have a partnership to someone to talk to. Because now we talk about, I drive him insane, y'all. Talking about that. Listen,
I'm not necessarily gonna say she drive me insane, but it is a regularly discussed topic of conversation.
Yeah,
and she doesn't care where we are.
Nope.
She doesn't care who we're around.
Nope.
Whether it's a person she just met,
yep,
or a person she's known for years.
Yep.
She's going to have the menopause conversation.
Because I'm not going to let women die or get sick on my watch with the information that I have.
Here's the thing. So here's the dirty little secret when it comes to that.
Dirty little secret.
That makes me so uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
I won't stop you.
Right.
Because I know what you're doing.
Right.
I know that it's important. Mm-hmm. I know it's an important conversation to have. Mm-hmm. I know that's a conversation that, as you say, is not had a lot.
Right.
Even in amidst of a circle of women, it's
right.
a conversation that's not had, so it's a needed conversation.
Right.
But from a almost, I'm not going to say childish, but I will say slightly immature standpoint, it's so uncomfortable.
Yes, but I need you to be uncomfortable. I need you to be uncomfortable. That's why I don't not have it around women with you. And the reason why, there are husbands that are going to need you who do not understand what's going on. And next thing you know, they're going to divorce their wives. They think they're going to feel like you feel unwanted, unloved, right. uncared for, not understanding what's going on. And then next thing you know, they're someplace else with somebody else, or they're having their own silent hurt. Your hurt was silent.
Yeah.
Because you never discussed that with me, that you didn't feel attractive or not loved or not wanted or any of those things. So yes, I want you to be uncomfortable. So when a husband says that, you could be like, hey, have you considered this? Or if they tell you, I don't know what to do, or you'll be that person to go, hey, walk in that with my wife, but walk hand in hand and make a plan together right. to make sure that this works. Not just, what I appreciate about you, not only is you walking hand in, like, of course you're paying for doctors and all that good stuff, but the fact that you walk through this with me mentally, that you spiritually, and that you're communicating like, hey, babe, are you okay? Do you need something? You understand the concept now. You understand if it takes me a minute to have a conversation or whatever right. the case is. And also walking through with me, trying to find a more affordable way to do this. So
what's going to help? What's going to help?
listen, I
benefit?
got
What
guys,
supplements? What can we do? What can we get?
I got this joke in here making beet juice. He in here making beet juice for me, guys. He's in here doing lemons and ginger and like anything he can if I ask him to assist me with this. And that's what I need. Well, I want to talk to you because it's so important that husbands are part of the game and not on the sidelines in order for us to make it. You know what I'm saying?
We have to reprogram our way of thinking.
Yeah.
I'm talking to men at
I know.
this point. Because most of our lives, and once again, talking in general conversation, but most of our lives, we're taught that's a woman's issue.
Wow.
That's a woman's issue. They'll deal with it. They know what to do. Ain't a whole lot we can do for them. So let's just move on. And that's so far from the truth. And that's so far from being fair.
Yeah.
From a male standpoint, as the husband, as the provider, as protector, there's so many things that we have to do to protect our wives, to care for our wives, to love our wives.
Yeah.
And this is one of them. This is when you stood before the pastor or the magistrate or the dude that went online for $5 and got ordained long enough to do your wedding. Whoever you stood before. And you went through your vows, and you went through for better or for worse, for sickness and in health, to death do us part. This is the part of that you agreed to.
Yes, sir.
This is the better or for worse part. This is the sickness or in health. And it can be frustrating because once again, general terms, but most men, if they don't fully understand something, they're going to get frustrated by it. There's going to be, because by nature we are fixers.
Right.
By nature you bring us a problem, we're going to want to fix it. Absolutely. That's a huge issue with a lot of relationships because a lot of the times women just want to vent. They don't want a solution.
Right.
It's on their heart, it's on their chest, it's on their mind. They just want to get it off.
Yeah, absolutely.
They come to their husband, they say, here's what's going on. Me and Sally got into it. Blase, blase, she this, she that, blase, blase. Where you're just venting because Sally's your best friend. A man is going to be like, yo, just break up with Sally.
Yeah, stop talking to her.
Stop talking to her. Don't call her no more.
Don't call
her. Now she get mad. That ain't what I wanted.
Right.
I ain't want you to tell me what to do. I just want, and this is one of those situations where, and a lot of the times the frustration is because she can't articulate what's going on.
Right.
She can't articulate. It's one of those situations where you know something is wrong, but you don't know what's wrong.
Yeah.
I know something is off,
right?
But I just can't put my finger on what's off. And that's hard to explain.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is hard to sit down with someone and have a conversation and saying something's wrong.
Right.
Something's off.
Right.
I can't tell you what's off.
But I know it's off.
I can't tell you what's wrong, but I know something's wrong.
Absolutely.
Because in a man's mind, okay, well, babe, something's wrong. Okay, what can we do to fix it? What do we need to do?
Right.
What course do we need to do? What course correction do we need to make? And then she's saying, I don't know.
Right.
I just know something's wrong.
That's frustrating.
That was so frustrating.
That would be frustrating for me.
Yeah, it was so. And then once again, not being able to really talk to you because once again, and no fault of your own, because it was so hard to have a long conversation with you. Because at some point in the middle of that conversation, you're going to have that moment where you can't get your thought together or you know what you want to say. And then the one thing about you that I love, but it's a pain in my behind.
Welcome to my life.
It's your bad sense of humor. Because you're quick to turn something into a joke.
Oh, he hates that, y'all.
And it irks me.
Oh my God.
Especially if we're in, because what my wife will do, and it's just something I have to love about her. But if we're in the middle of a in-depth conversation or a dramatic moment, she will turn our dramatic series into a comedy sketch.
I'm sorry.
And I'm like, but I'm not trying to be funny right now. I don't want to tell jokes right now. Right. And then I said my favorite line, see, you don't take nothing serious.
Yeah. It was one of those conversations, case in point, I don't know what we were talking about or what happened between me and you or whatever. and you was like, Ange, and I was like, you was like, it's not a pity party or something. I don't know what happened between me and you. And he was so serious. And I don't know why. I was like, okay, well, I'll just take my balloons back. Then I didn't know. I was trying to make light of the situation. He was like,
I wanted to
you
pop
think
her
it's
head
a
off.
joke? This is not a joke, Ange. And
I wanted
I'm
to pop her head off.
because I was like, it was something about a pity party or whatever. And I was like, oh, I didn't know. Okay, I'll take my balloons back to the, and he was hot.
Yeah, I was livid.
I was so
livid.
hot.
I just I pop your head off, and that's what was going on, and and then my frustration was, I want to help, I want to fix this, I want to do something.
Yeah.
And you couldn't tell me anything. You couldn't tell me what to do.
I didn't
know. You couldn't even articulate what was going on.
Yeah.
And that was so frustrating. And then
you definitely want to hear it's the change.
Yeah.
Like, the change of what?
The change of what? Is you a caterpillar? What is you about to be a butterfly? What change is you doing?
The change of arms, the change of who and what, where. Yeah.
And with that, and then like I said, from a personal standpoint, because for the longest time, to be honest, we had a really good intimate life.
Yeah, we did.
We had a really good intimate life. And to go from a really good intimate life to somewhat of an intimate life to a scattered intimate life to
no intimate life.
It's like I will smother you in your sleep. Like what? How many different ways can you say no?
No, like this is crazy. I think too, it was one of those things. One time, me and you were talking, and you said to me, "Hey, can I have my wife back?" Because I thought because this was early in the game when you thought I was depressed,
right?
And he was like, "Hey, can I have my wife back?" And I'm like, "Right." He was like, "No, this is not my wife. This is not who I married. This is not what I signed up for." And I know, babe, we say when you say yes to it all. Right. But this is not the woman, the creative woman, the smart woman, the woman who got all the drive, the woman that's going after whatever she wants and don't care. Where did she disappear to? And I was so hurt by that because I wish I knew that about myself, but I didn't know how to stop it from happening until I got educated. I didn't know, and so when you said that, it was hurtful because I didn't know how to go, no, I'm not depressed. This is what's going on. But I didn't know because I kept feeling like maybe I am depressed because I didn't know, because when you've only heard the change, hot flashes,
you can't have
night
kids
sweats,
no more. Yeah.
and you can't, and you don't have to worry about kids no more, and you've heard nothing else. There's no way. So I'm thinking, if I don't got that, then this must be depression. This must be something else. I want to read this to you.
What's up? What you got for me?
And I'm reading it for the family. So husbands, please listen. And wives, please listen. If you're having any of these issues, and it's a gamut, the majority of them that you haven't, please see if you can get your hormones checked. Ask them to check your hormones. Okay, so it says, we're talking about pain circumstances can occur during sexual intercourse.
Right.
Period. Vaginal dryness. Oh, we going there, people, today. We right where we need to be. Your whole body is fatigue, night sweats, osteoporosis. Thank you. Hot flashes or sweating. Your sleep is early awakening or insomnia, which I dealt with for a long time. I could not sleep. Your menstrual is an absence of menstrual or irregular menstruation. Your hair is dryness or loss of scalp hair, so you lose hair. Also, anxiety, dry skin, irritability, moodiness, reduced sex drive, or vaginal dryness, like I said before. That is just a couple, not everything. So if you're going through any of that, or husbands, if you see that that's going on with your wife, I need you to pay attention and see if you can get her to get her hormones checked, because something is off balance. It's not that she don't love you, not that she don't care. In certain instances, I'm just saying, it's not that she don't want to be intimate with you. It's none of those things. It could be a hormone imbalance that needs to be taken care of seriously.
Yeah, this is the time where you have to remove personal feelings out of the equation.
Yeah.
This is the time where you can't take anything personal. And I know it's hard.
It feels like it.
And we talk about this all the time. It's hard to say, when I'm in a committed lifetime relationship with my best friend, how can I not take it personal?
Exactly.
When this is the woman that I want to spend the rest of my life with, that I want to cherish, I want to love on, I want to the best of me and the best of her is what I want. How can I not take it personal? How you don't take it personal is that what she's going through, first of all, it's not a choice.
My God.
This is not something she just woke up one day and decided. This is not, she just looked
It's
at
not
you.
an option.
Yeah, she didn't just look at you and be like, you know what, you're not cute no more. I don't, it's not that. It's really not. This is something that's so far out of her control. And a lot of the time she doesn't know.
Yeah.
Because like Angie's saying, and she has personal experience where their doctors are not talking to them about this. And
don't want to talk
and
to
don't
us about
and when
it.
they bring it up, the subject is changed or it's put off on something else, or they just want to throw a medication at you. There's been so many times that my wife has went to the doctor and came home and said, "Babe, I got a prescription. I don't know what it's for."
And I'm not taking it.
I'm not taking it. I'm not
gonna
getting
get
this
that.
filled
I'm not getting that filled.
because I told them this is A, B, C, D. They said, "Okay, we'll do Z." And she was like, "Okay, but what is this for?" She's like, "Well, we're gonna try some things.
We're gonna try. They said that we're gonna try antidepressants. We're gonna try. They tried. They also gave me pain muscle relaxers. We're gonna try. I mean, like all these things, throwing it on the wall. Let's just see which one of these work. What?
And so it's so hard, and it's once again it is frustrating. It is a frustrating thing to talk to somebody, to want to get information from them, to wanna understand, and they're just not able to fully articulate what's going on. That's frustrating.
Yeah.
But it is not personal.
No.
And that, once again, it's easy to say when you're physically attracted to your spouse and you want to be intimate with your spouse, and they say no, or they turn you away, and sometimes I'll be honest, she wasn't nice about it. There were times where she was flat out mean.
Was I mean?
Yeah, you were flat out mean.
Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry.
You were flat out mean. But it's after we started learning, that I realized your meanness wasn't from a malicious place. It was from a frustration.
In a hurtful place.
Yeah,
hurtful
because
place.
It's not that you didn't want to. You couldn't.
Yeah.
You didn't have it. You legitimately didn't have it in you.
Yeah.
Now, caveat, we're not having a conversation where, for whatever reason, we just want to use excuses.
You're about to say, don't use this as an excuse now.
To not.
Right, exactly.
That's a totally different conversation. That's a topic for another time.
Yeah.
This is for these particular situations, incidences, for women who are going through this situation, who don't really know, can't really put a finger on why
something's wrong.
They feel the way they feel. They want to, mentally they want to, but physically, emotionally, and a lot of the time spiritually, correct me if I'm wrong, they just can't put they just can't put themselves in that position.
Yeah.
And from a husband standpoint, it can be very deflating. It really can ruin a man's opinion of himself if he's not careful.
Yeah, and you have to be careful.
Yeah, if he's not careful, he can really start, because I did. My opinion of myself changed. How I looked at myself changed. In a lot of the ways, I stopped caring about myself. I stopped putting in the effort when it came to myself.
Right.
Because I was like, what the hell for?
Yeah. Because it can not only bother when you're partnering together, if it's affecting your significant other, your partner's mental capacity, it will affect yours as well, right? Because you're doing, like you said, you're checking all these boxes, you're trying to make sure, you're trying to do all of these things. So that's why I said you have got to bring your husbands, ladies, off the sideline. You have got to bring them off of the sideline and bring them into the game with you. And here's the thing. They will be troopers with you. They will go hard for you. St. just goes hard for me. Like I said, making juices and whatever he can do. And even being more understanding now that he knows, like, okay, give her a minute. She gonna get it. Yeah. Or like he does now, he'll be like, are you trying to say, like, words I know how to say. He'll back me up and be like, okay, are you trying to say, and he'll say it for me, because, and again, it's all coming back to me because I'm going through and I'm taking the stuff that I need to take to be able to bring it back, because you don't. Now, let me just say this before, because we're going to end this in a few seconds. But what I want to say to you is this. You don't have to live with this, right? You don't have to live with it. You know, it's going to be a part of you. I actually gave perimenopause a name. Her name is Patricia.
No, Patricia.
Me and Patricia are best friends because she's always with me. But there are supplements out there that can help you. There are creams that can help you. Again, go to a doctor to check on that. And let me just say this. Also realizing that with perimenopause and menopause, there is weight gain Again, there is your high cholesterol. There is visceral fat that you got to be aware of. There's fatty liver that you got to be cardiovascular issues. So this is very, very serious. This is not a game.
This
is not a game. So please,
correct me if I'm wrong, but in a lot of ways, this is life and death.
This is life and death, and that's serious. That's serious business. But it doesn't have to be to do your quality of life. There are things that you can do about that. And when I get around the round table and have another episode of this with the women, we'll talk to you about some things that you can do every single day to make life so much better. So it's not the end of your life, because I think that's another thing they made me feel like. But when you get to menopause, know that that's the end of your life. The devil is a liar. So just know those things. So I just, baby, thank you so much, because I just wanted to talk to you and have you talk to the husbands out there and the significant ones out there to let them know that partner, and letting the wives know, partner with your partner.
Partner with your partner.
Partner with your partner, because you're going to need them through this journey. So for you, what is, I'm going to hit you like you do me all the time. So what's your final word on this?
What's my final thought? My final thought is patience. Is my final thought. Just, gentlemen, be patient with her. This is not a choice. This is not, she just woke up one day and decided to be mean. It's not that at all. This is a frustration on her part. This is a confusion on her part. This is in a lot of ways, a fear on her part, because there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of things that are changing that she has no control over. That she's trying to work through, that she's trying to make better, that she's trying to wrap her own thought processes and mind around. This is one of the times where you're going to have to put I'm not saying that you're not important. I'm not saying that how you feel is not important. I'm not saying that your thought processes are not important. So please don't misunderstand that. But what I am saying is that it's going to be times where you have to kind of put your need to the side for a moment, only for a moment.
For a moment, only a season.
Only for a moment, to partner with her, to help her, to cover her, to get her to a place where she's okay, where she can work through this. You guys can work through this. She can get the help that she needs, because it's going to be, from what I've learned, it's going to be trial and error.
Yeah, it's trial and error, guys.
Because even the so-called medications that are prescribed by doctors doesn't work for everybody.
It doesn't.
There's a lot of over-the-counter medications that are out there that doesn't work for everybody.
Absolutely.
Even the so-called alternative, your creams and your juices and your elixirs or whatever, your compounds and things, it doesn't work for everybody. Exactly. So it's a lot of trial and error. It's a lot of taken from here and taken from there and putting it together and see what works, and does this combination work, and or if I add a little bit here and take a little bit there, does that work?
Does it work?
So it's just patience, guys. Your patience will be rewarded.
Yes.
Because you're going to get your girlfriend back. You're going to get your best friend back.
Yes, you will.
You're going to get the love of your life back. But it's going to be a process. Yeah. And in doing what I've learned doing this transition is that she's going to need you now more than she has in the previous part of your marriage. So that's what I would have to say.
I love that, baby. Thank you so much, guys. We love you. We love you so much. I don't have any final thoughts, because everything is a thought at this point.
Everything's a thought.
And if I do anything else, it's gonna be 2 hours, so I'm not gonna do it. But I love you so much. First of all, thank you, Sanchez, so much. I love you. Thank you for answering the questions. Thank you for being transparent. But not only that, thank you for partnering with me in this journey that we're in, that we call. Because as we say, once you say yes, you say yes to it all. Yes to it all. So, guys, we love you so much. So take it away, Mr. Crenshaw.
So, guys, we thank you. Family, as always, we thank you for being a part of the Crenshaw Corner. We thank you for listening. However you're listening, whether it's on iTunes, whether it's on Podbean, whether it's on Spotify, whether it's on Google Play, whether it's on iHeartRadio, whether it's on our own personal website at www.thecrenshawcorner.com. Whether you found us on Instagram, you found us on Facebook, you found us on TikTok, or you found us on YouTube. We thank you so much for being here.
So much.
And as always, family, welcome to our journey.
We love you guys. Bye.